Hey, movie nerds! Today we're stepping into the Ten Commandments, a 1956 epic that explores faith, freedom, and the immense cost of destiny. A story that asks us to look deeper, to question, and to feel beyond the surface. I'm glad you're here, because together we'll unravel the hidden layers, the subtle details, and the little moments that whisper the heart of the film. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. Let's keep exploring these stories that shape how we see the world. Now, settle in, open your mind, and let's dive into the depths of this cinematic journey. Right from the opening, the film pulls us into a world where history feels alive, where the sands of the desert are swept not just by the wind, but by the heavy footsteps of gods and men locked in a struggle as old as time itself. It's a tale spun with the grandeur of myth, but grounded in the messy humanity of its characters. You find yourself standing on the edge of vast kingdoms, watching as power and faith clash, and where one man's awakening promises to change the course of history forever. This is no simple story. It's an epic that stretches across the ages, tracing the rise of a prince who starts his life drenched in privilege, shielded by royal walls and golden luxuries. But beneath that gilded surface lies a secret, one that binds him to a people oppressed, enslaved, and longing for deliverance. The film doesn't just chart his journey from royalty to rebellion, it immerses us in the tension between duty and conscience, the complex ties of family and identity, and the sheer will it takes to break chains, both visible and invisible. As the narrative unfolds, we're drawn into the early days of this prince's life, raised as the favored son of an empire, taught the ways of kingship, yet unknowingly distant from his true origins. His world is one of splendor but also one built on suffering, as the enslaved masses toil to raise monuments that glorify a system indifferent to their pain. The film paints this contrast with painstaking detail, the shimmering halls where decisions are made, the dusty camps where laborers bend under the sun's merciless gaze. Tensions simmer beneath the surface. The bond between the prince and his adoptive brother is complex, a mix of loyalty, rivalry, and a bitter undercurrent of jealousy. Their paths, once intertwined by family and friendship, begin to diverge as the prince's heart stirs with an awakening awareness of injustice. This awakening is not sudden but gradual, sparked by encounters with his people and the cruel realities of their bondage. It's a subtle yet profound shift, portrayed with emotional nuance that invites us to walk alongside him as his world expands and fractures. Conflict escalates with breathtaking intensity. The prince's decision to intervene in the brutal treatment of a slave is a turning point that shatters the fragile peace of the palace. It's a moment charged with raw emotion and danger, where personal conscience collides headlong with the machinery of power. The consequences are swift and severe, sending the prince into exile, a vast and lonely wilderness that tests every ounce of his resolve. Exile transforms him. The harsh desert becomes both adversary and teacher, stripping away the trappings of royalty and forcing the prince to confront his fears, doubts, and hopes. It's in this wilderness that he begins to grow into the leader his people need, resilient, wise, and unyielding. The film captures this transformation with haunting imagery and spiritual depth, weaving moments of solitude and revelation that feel both timeless and deeply human. Along the way, alliances are forged. The prince gathers a band of loyal followers, each with their own scars and stories, united by a shared vision of freedom. Their camaraderie and struggles provide a powerful counterpoint to the cold grandeur of the empire they oppose. Together, they face impossible odds, their journey punctuated by trials that test faith, courage, and the bonds of trust. The tension between brothers reaches a devastating crescendo. Their confrontations crackle with emotional charge, where love and hate, loyalty and betrayal, collide in a volatile dance. This personal conflict mirrors the larger battle for the soul of a nation, adding layers of psychological complexity to the epic's grand sweep. Then comes the film's iconic and awe-inspiring spectacle, the parting of the sea. This moment is cinematic legend, a visual and emotional climax where faith meets the impossible, and liberation takes on a divine dimension. The scene's grandeur is matched only by its intimate power, as countless lives cross through a corridor of water, stepping from slavery into hope. It's a triumph that feels both miraculous and deeply earned, a testament to human resilience and divine grace. Yet, the journey does not end there. The aftermath brings profound questions about law, order, and moral responsibility. The giving of the commandments is depicted not just as a historical event, but as a spiritual covenant that binds a people to principles higher than themselves. This moment resonates with weight and reverence, inviting reflection on the nature of justice and the enduring quest to live by ideals beyond mere survival. Throughout the film, the interplay of faith, power, and humanity hums beneath every scene. The director's vision blends sweeping spectacle with intimate character moments, ensuring the story never loses its emotional core amid the vastness. From the burning bush's quiet mystery to the thunderous plagues that shake a kingdom, the film balances awe with empathy, inviting us to contemplate the forces, both seen and unseen, that shape destiny. So, what are the key elements that make this film not just a historical epic but a living story? It's the profound moral questions it raises, about freedom, sacrifice, and leadership. It's the tension between human frailty and divine purpose, between the personal and the political. It's the way it captures the intimate moments amid colossal events, reminding us that history is lived one heart at a time. There are also the unforgettable twists, the brothers' tragic pride, the hero's journey into the unknown, the miraculous interventions that change the course of everything. Each turn is crafted with care, pulling us deeper into a narrative that is as much about inner transformation as it is about external victory. This film invites us to look beyond its surface spectacle, to listen to the quiet moments, the flickers of doubt and faith, the gestures of love and loss that give it life. It's a cinematic journey that challenges us to see with new eyes, to feel with open hearts, and to ponder the eternal questions woven into the fabric of human existence. So, as we prepare to unpack this epic in all its richness, know that we're not just watching a story unfold, we're stepping into a conversation across time, engaging with themes that resonate as powerfully today as they did thousands of years ago. The path ahead is vast, filled with awe, conflict, revelation, and hope. And with that, let's dive into the sands, the struggles, and the soul of this extraordinary tale. The story begins in a world bathed in the golden light of ancient Egypt, where the air hums with power and the heavy stones of towering monuments echo the relentless ambition of a civilization striving to immortalize itself. Within this vast and majestic empire, a child is born under extraordinary circumstances, a child destined to bridge two worlds, caught between the privilege of royalty and the brutal realities of bondage. His journey from innocence to awakening sets the stage for a narrative that is both epic in scale and deeply human in its emotional depth. This child, taken from his birth mother to be raised in the pharaoh's palace, grows amid splendor and ceremony, unaware of the blood that ties him to the enslaved people laboring beneath the empire's gleaming surface. His adoptive family lavishes him with affection and education, grooming him to be a leader among the powerful. Yet beneath the royal robes and carefully rehearsed etiquette lies a restless spirit, a yearning for understanding that will soon begin to pull him beyond the gilded cage. Early scenes paint a vivid picture of palace life, where luxury and political intrigue intermingle. The young prince learns the arts of statecraft, religion, and warfare, tutored by wise mentors and surrounded by noble peers. Among these is his adoptive brother, a figure both close and distant, friend, rival, and future antagonist. Their bond is complex, forged in childhood yet strained by competing ambitions and the shadows of unspoken truths. This dynamic sows seeds of tension that will grow as their destinies diverge. As the prince matures, cracks appear in the palace's facade. His growing awareness of the suffering outside the palace walls begins to haunt him. Scenes depicting the lives of slaves, burdened with back-breaking labor and harsh punishment, stand in stark contrast to the opulence enjoyed by the elite. These glimpses into the harsh reality of his people awaken something deep within him, stirring questions of justice, identity, and responsibility. A key turning point arrives when the prince witnesses firsthand the cruelty inflicted upon a slave. Unable to stand by, he intervenes, a courageous act that shatters the fragile equilibrium of palace life. This moment of defiance, charged with emotion and moral urgency, marks the beginning of his transformation from privileged royal to champion of the oppressed. But with this act comes a price. His position within the palace becomes precarious, and his adoptive brother's growing resentment foreshadows an imminent fracture. The prince's exile is both a physical banishment and a spiritual crucible. Cast out from the world he knew, he wanders the vast desert, a landscape both unforgiving and sublime. These scenes are rich with symbolism, the endless sands representing isolation, trial, and the vastness of the unknown. It is in this wilderness that the hero confronts his fears and doubts, undergoing a profound internal journey that mirrors the external hardships. During exile, the prince encounters new allies, nomads and outcasts whose lives and wisdom broaden his understanding of freedom and leadership. Their resilience and community spirit contrast sharply with the tyranny he fled, teaching him humility and the power of solidarity. These relationships deepen the narrative's emotional fabric, moving beyond the hero's personal saga to encompass a collective struggle. The film skillfully portrays the hero's spiritual awakening. Moments of prayer, visions, and and divine encounters infuse the story with a sense of sacred purpose. These sequences are portrayed with reverence and mystery, emphasizing the interplay between human agency and divine will. The hero's dialogue with the divine shapes his resolve and direction, marking him as more than a mere man, a chosen instrument of liberation and LOW. As the narrative progresses, the hero begins to gather followers, those inspired by his vision and courage. Their shared hardships and hopes forge a community bound by faith and a yearning for justice. Together, they prepare to challenge the Empire's iron grip, their journey fraught with peril but fueled by an unbreakable spirit. Back in the palace, the political landscape shifts dramatically. The hero's adoptive brother rises to power, embodying the ruthless authority and pride that the hero rejects. His reign is marked by oppression and fear, a stark counterpoint to the burgeoning hope of rebellion. The tension between these two figures escalates, transforming their personal rivalry into a battle for the soul of a nation. Amid mounting conflict, the story unfolds with a careful balance of intimate character moments and sweeping historical events. The hero's internal doubts and the external dangers he faces are intertwined, creating a narrative rhythm that keeps the audience deeply engaged. Scenes of rebellion, negotiation, and divine intervention unfold with increasing urgency, setting the stage for the monumental events to come. Throughout this portion of the story, the film explores themes of identity, faith, sacrifice, and the cost of freedom. The hero's journey is portrayed not as a simple ascent but as a complex process of self-discovery and commitment. The relationships he forms, marked by loyalty, betrayal, love, and loss, add emotional depth and realism to the epic scope. The tension reaches a crescendo as the hero and his followers prepare to confront the Empire in a dramatic and risky bid for liberation. The stakes are life and death, not only for the individuals involved but for the future of an entire people. This build-up is charged with anticipation, uncertainty, and the weight of history pressing down on every step. The first half of the story thus sets a foundation rich in character, theme, and atmosphere. It invites viewers into a world of grandeur and grit, where the personal and the political collide, and where faith and courage become the forces that drive change. The narrative's pacing and structure ensure that every moment, whether a quiet prayer, a heated confrontation, or a sweeping battle scene, resonates with meaning and emotional power. In sum, this early section of the film crafts a journey of awakening and transformation that is both epic and intimate. It captures the complexities of leadership, the struggles of conscience, and the enduring hope for freedom, weaving together human stories with the grandeur of history. The foundations laid here promise a continuation that will deepen and expand these themes, leading to a climax as monumental as the stones of the pyramids themselves. The story surges forward with a sense of inexorable destiny, as the man who once wandered the desert transforms fully into a leader whose faith and resolve inspire a movement far greater than himself. The desert exile has tempered him, forging a spirit both unyielding and humble, ready to challenge the mighty empire that once rejected him. The weight of history presses upon every step, as rebellion shifts from whispered hopes to an unstoppable force demanding justice. His return to Egypt is marked by quiet determination and growing momentum. No longer a sheltered prince but a man shaped by trial and vision, he re-enters the land of his birth carrying the hopes of a people long burdened by chains. The scenes of his homecoming crackle with tension, between joy and dread, triumph and impending conflict. The Empire, confident in its dominion, underestimates the power of conviction that drives this returning exile. The rivalry between the two brothers escalates into a conflict both personal and political, where every encounter is charged with years of love, betrayal, and clashing ideals. Their exchanges are fraught with passion and bitterness, a microcosm of the larger struggle for control and freedom. These confrontations reveal the depth of their fractured bond, layered with regret and unspoken emotions. This tension adds an intimate dimension to the epic, grounding vast historical events in human complexity. As the movement for liberation gains strength, the film delves into the trials that test the hero and his followers. Plagues sweep across the land, each more devastating and miraculous than the last, shaking the foundations of the empire and challenging the ruler's grip. These events are portrayed with dramatic intensity, blending spectacle with a sense of divine judgment and inevitability. The plagues become not only physical afflictions but symbolic reckonings, manifestations of justice confronting tyranny. The hero's faith deepens amid these calamities, portrayed through moments of prayer, reflection, and divine guidance. These scenes convey the spiritual dimension of the struggle, reminding viewers that the battle for freedom is also a test of belief and purpose. The interplay between human action and divine intervention adds complexity and mystery, elevating the narrative beyond mere political revolt. One of the most breathtaking moments comes with the legendary parting of the sea, a sequence that unfolds with awe-inspiring spectacle and profound emotional resonance. The film captures the tension and wonder of this miraculous event with sweeping camera work and evocative sound design. The visual grandeur is matched by the intimate reactions of the people, who step forward with trembling faith into the unknown. This crossing symbolizes the passage from slavery to freedom, despair to hope, and captivity to covenant. The pursuit by the Empire's forces through the parted waters adds suspense and gravity. The ensuing destruction is both triumphant and tragic, underscoring the high cost of liberation. The film does not shy away from portraying loss and sacrifice, giving the victory a somber depth. This balance enriches the emotional impact, making the triumph feel hard-won and deeply meaningful. Following the escape, the narrative turns to the giving of the laws, a moment steeped in spiritual significance and communal transformation. The hero ascends a mountain to receive commandments that will shape the identity and ethics of a people. This scene is rendered with solemnity and grandeur, highlighting the covenant between the divine and humanity. The laws are presented not as mere rules but as a foundation for justice, morality, and collective destiny. The film explores the challenges of embodying these laws amid the complexities of human nature. Scenes depict moments of doubt, rebellion, and renewal, reflecting the ongoing tension between idealism and reality. This portrayal adds nuance, acknowledging that the path to righteousness is neither simple nor straight. Throughout these climactic chapters, the film balances sweeping historical events with intimate character moments. The hero's internal struggles and relationships remain at the forefront, grounding the epic in human experience. His interactions with followers, family, and the divine reveal a leader who is both inspired and burdened, victorious and vulnerable. The resolution brings a sense of both closure and continuation. While the immediate struggle reaches a dramatic conclusion, the film suggests that the journey toward justice and faith is ongoing, a legacy passed down through generations. The final images evoke awe and contemplation, inviting viewers to reflect on the enduring power of hope, courage, and covenant. In this grand culmination, the narrative threads, personal and political, spiritual and temporal, converge into a powerful statement about liberation and leadership. The film leaves us with a vision of a people transformed by faith and resilience, carrying forward a story that transcends time. This section of the film, rich with drama and symbolism, cements its place as an enduring masterpiece. It captures the climax of a saga that is at once historical epic, spiritual journey, and profound meditation on freedom. Through its breathtaking visuals, complex characters, and layered themes, the story resonates deeply, inviting viewers into a timeless conversation about what it means to lead, to believe, and to be free. At the core of this monumental tale lies a cast of characters whose complexities and contradictions breathe life into the sweeping narrative, transforming it from a grand historical epic into a deeply human drama. Each figure embodies themes that resonate beyond their time, reflecting struggles of identity, power, faith, and sacrifice that feel as relevant today as they did thousands of years ago. Exploring these characters reveals a rich tapestry of motivations, relationships, and transformations that anchor the story's vast scope in personal experience. The protagonist stands as a figure of profound duality, a prince raised in luxury yet born into bondage, a man caught between worlds. His character arc is one of awakening and evolution, tracing a journey from innocence and privilege to awareness and leadership. Early on, he embodies the tension between comfort and conscience, his identity fractured by the secrets surrounding his birth and the realities of the people he is meant to lead. This internal conflict is portrayed with nuance and empathy. He is not a flawless hero but a deeply human one, marked by doubt, fear, and moments of hesitation. His initial ignorance of his origins is not just a plot device but a metaphor for the universal struggle to understand oneself amid competing influences. As he witnesses injustice and suffers exile, his character deepens, revealing layers of resilience, compassion, and spiritual awakening. His leadership style reflects these complexities. Unlike tyrants who wield power through fear, he leads through empathy and vision, inspiring loyalty by sharing in the hardships of his followers. His capacity to listen and adapt marks him as a leader forged in trial rather than entitlement. This transformation from royal prince to servant leader is a central theme, illustrating the profound cost and responsibility of true freedom. The hero's spiritual journey adds further depth. His encounters with the divine are not moments of simple revelation but are fraught with struggle and introspection. He wrestles with faith, doubts his purpose, and seeks guidance, making his relationship with the sacred profoundly human. These moments highlight the theme that belief is a journey, not a destination, and that leadership requires humility before forces greater than oneself. Opposing him is his adoptive brother, a character equally complex and compelling. He embodies pride, ambition, and the corrosive nature of absolute power. Yet, he is not a one-dimensional villain. His motivations are rooted in fear of loss and a desire for order. His ruthless actions reveal the dangers of unchecked authority but also a tragic vulnerability. The conflict between the brothers is as much about identity and belonging as it is about political control. Their relationship is a powerful emotional engine of the story. Shared history, familial bonds, and rivalry intertwine, creating scenes charged with passion, regret, and tension. The antagonist's struggle for power is shadowed by moments of doubt and fleeting tenderness, suggesting a man trapped by his own choices. This nuanced portrayal elevates their conflict beyond simple good versus evil, revealing the complexities of love and betrayal. Supporting characters enrich the narrative's emotional landscape. Allies and friends of the hero embody qualities of loyalty, courage, and sacrifice, each bringing unique perspectives to the struggle. Their interactions with the protagonist reveal different facets of his character, from inspiring hope to confronting difficult truths. These relationships ground the epic in human connection, showing how collective action shapes history. Among the most memorable is the hero's love interest, whose presence brings tenderness and humanity to the epic saga. Their bond is portrayed with warmth and nuance, offering moments of respite and emotional depth amid the turmoil. This relationship underscores the personal costs of the larger struggle and highlights themes of love, sacrifice, and support. The people the hero leads, the enslaved masses, are portrayed with dignity and individuality. They are not merely a backdrop but vital characters whose hopes, fears, and resilience give the story heart. Their stories of suffering and endurance amplify the film's themes of liberation and justice. The hero's connection with them is a testament to his empathy and the collective nature of freedom. Other figures, such as mentors and spiritual guides, provide wisdom and challenge the hero's understanding. Their presence enriches the narrative with philosophical and theological reflection, emphasizing that the journey toward liberation involves both external struggle and internal growth. These characters often serve as catalysts for the hero's development, guiding him toward greater awareness and commitment. Visually and narratively, the characters are defined through costume, gesture, and dialogue, with careful attention to detail that enhances their distinct identities. The contrast between royal finery and the simple garments of the oppressed visually underscores social divides and personal transformations. Makeup and physicality further communicate character traits and emotional states, adding layers of meaning. The film's portrayal of leadership challenges conventional archetypes. The protagonist's evolution is neither swift nor effortless. It is marked by setbacks, self-doubt, and moments of despair. This realism invites audiences to see leadership as a complex and demanding path, one requiring courage, sacrifice, and humility. His ultimate embrace of responsibility speaks to the film's broader message about the costs and rewards of freedom. The antagonist's descent into tyranny illustrates the destructive potential of pride and fear. His character serves as a cautionary tale about the corrupting influence of power divorced from empathy. Yet, his moments of vulnerability add tragic depth, reminding viewers that even the most formidable figures are shaped by human frailty. The interplay between these central characters creates a dynamic tension that propels the narrative and deepens its thematic resonance. Their conflicts embody larger struggles, between freedom and oppression, faith and doubt, love and hatred, making their personal stories reflections of universal human dilemmas. In conclusion, the film's characters are the beating heart of its epic tale. Their richly drawn personalities, relationships, and transformations elevate the story from historical spectacle to profound human drama. Through their journeys, the film explores enduring themes of identity, justice, faith, and sacrifice, inviting audiences to reflect on the complexities of freedom and leadership. This intricate character work ensures the story's emotional power and timeless relevance, making it a masterpiece of both storytelling and cinematic art. The making of this sweeping epic was a venture so grand, so ambitious, that the stories behind its creation are as captivating and layered as the film itself. Behind the glittering sets and monumental scenes lies a world of extraordinary effort, unexpected mishaps, and fascinating curiosities that reveal the very human heartbeat beneath the cinematic spectacle. Exploring these strange and surprising facts sheds new light on how a masterpiece was born from a mixture of vision, chaos, and perseverance. One of the most astonishing feats of production was the sheer scale of the sets, unparalleled at the time. The construction of the ancient city was not merely a facade but a sprawling complex covering hundreds of acres, painstakingly crafted to bring history to vivid life. Thousands of workers, artisans, and craftsmen labored for months, carving stones, painting murals, and erecting columns that would dwarf even the actors. This enormous undertaking was so ambitious that it essentially created a temporary metropolis, complete with streets, temples, and marketplaces. The attention to detail was staggering. Every crack in the stone, every chipped edge, was designed to reflect centuries of wear and history. But the enormity of the sets brought unique challenges. The production team had to coordinate the movements of thousands of extras within these vast spaces, a task akin to conducting an orchestra of human bodies. Organizers developed complex systems of signals and rehearsals to synchronize crowd scenes, often involving hundreds or thousands of people. Imagine the logistical puzzle of keeping such a multitude moving, reacting, and performing in unison, day after day, under harsh desert conditions. Speaking of the desert, the choice to film many sequences in actual desert locations introduced a host of unexpected difficulties. The harsh sun and shifting sands wreaked havoc on equipment and personnel. Cameras frequently overheated or malfunctioned, and the blistering heat tested the endurance of cast and crew alike. One well-known anecdote tells of a sudden sandstorm that rolled across the set, burying props and causing shooting to halt for several days. This storm was so fierce and unexpected that many involved whispered about it with a mix of awe and superstition, as if the desert itself was asserting its ancient will. Animals played a critical and sometimes unpredictable role in the production. The filmmakers enlisted real elephants, camels, horses, and other creatures to lend authenticity to the scenes. These animals, however, brought their own set of challenges. Trainers worked tirelessly to prepare them for the complex choreography required, but on occasion, animals behaved unpredictably. There are tales of elephants startled by noise, causing near panic among extras, or camels refusing to cooperate during key takes. One amusing story recounts a camel that wandered off mid-scene, leading to a comical camel chase that disrupted filming but also lightened the mood. Among the most remarkable and technically challenging scenes was the legendary parting of the sea. Achieving this awe-inspiring moment required ingenuity and pioneering special effects techniques. The filmmakers constructed massive water tanks equipped with mechanical gates that could release or hold back enormous volumes of water. Cameras were positioned strategically to capture the illusion of walls of water towering on either side of the fleeing masses. This effect was a marvel for its time, predating the digital effects of later decades and relying entirely on practical, in-camera techniques. However, these water effects were not without incident. During one shoot, a malfunction caused a sudden surge that flooded part of the set, damaging equipment and nearly putting crew members in danger. Quick thinking and coordinated efforts averted disaster, but the close call became part of the lore surrounding the film's making. These moments of risk underscored the daring and innovation at the heart of the production. The director, known for his exacting standards and epic vision, earned a reputation for demanding multiple takes to capture the perfect shot. This relentless pursuit of perfection led to grueling days and long hours on set. Actors recall days stretched into nights, with dozens of retakes pushing their physical and emotional limits. Yet, many also acknowledge that this intensity resulted in performances charged with authenticity and power. The director's combination of artistic rigor and openness to creative input fostered an environment where innovation thrived despite the pressures. The film's star cast added another layer of fascination. The leading actor, embodying the hero with commanding presence, was a figure of great dedication and charisma. Off-camera, he was known for his warmth and willingness to engage with extras and crew, breaking down hierarchical barriers and creating a sense of camaraderie on set. His commitment extended to learning ancient languages and customs to bring depth to his role, an effort that enriched the authenticity of his performance. In contrast, the actor portraying the hero's adoptive brother and rival was known for his intense methodical approach. Their on-screen rivalry was mirrored by a competitive but respectful dynamic off-screen, with stories of heated discussions about character motivations and interpretations. This interplay between the two added a palpable tension to their scenes, elevating their conflict beyond simple antagonism. The makeup and costume departments also played vital roles in shaping the film's visual impact. Crafting thousands of costumes for principal actors and extras alike required innovation and resourcefulness. Some costumes incorporated real gold leaf and precious stones to evoke royal splendor, but practical needs often necessitated lighter materials disguised to look authentic. The makeup artists pioneered techniques that would influence Hollywood for decades, using intricate designs and prosthetics to transform actors into figures from antiquity. One quirky behind-the-scenes tale involves an extra originally hired for a minor role who captivated the director with his natural charisma and emotional expressiveness. Without formal acting experience, this individual became a beloved presence on set and was granted more screen time than planned. His authentic portrayal of the common people added a layer of humanity and spontaneity that enriched the film's texture. The film's musical score, composed by a legendary maestro, was a monumental undertaking. The composer assembled one of the largest orchestras of the time and blended Western symphonic traditions with exotic instruments to evoke the film's ancient setting. The recording sessions were intense collaborations, with the director and composer working closely to align music and image. Alternate versions of key themes, recorded but unused, have since been rediscovered, offering insight into the evolving creative process. The editing room was another arena of epic scale. With hundreds of hours of footage, the editors faced the daunting task of crafting a cohesive and compelling narrative. Early cuts were reportedly longer and more sprawling, with sequences trimmed or rearranged to enhance pacing and clarity. Debates over what to include and how to balance spectacle with intimacy shaped the final cut. Sound design complemented editing, layering ambient noise and effects to immerse audiences in the ancient world. Marketing and release strategies reflected the film's monumental ambitions. The studio organized grand premieres with lavish events and simultaneous openings in multiple cities, turning screenings into cultural celebrations. This strategy helped the film achieve unprecedented box office success and cement its status as a cinematic landmark. Its influence rippled through Hollywood, inspiring filmmakers and expanding the possibilities of epic storytelling. Beyond commercial success, the film sparked renewed interest in biblical scholarship and ancient history. Its detailed depiction of customs, languages, and landscapes prompted discussions and debates, bridging the worlds of entertainment, religion, and academia. Museums and educational institutions used the film as a springboard for exploration, recognizing its power to engage broad audiences. The making of this epic was marked by moments of humor, hardship, and human connection. Long days in the desert fostered friendships and stories that have become part of film lore. Cast and crew shared meals under the stars, improvised scenes during breaks, and supported one another through injuries and exhaustion. These human elements imbue the production with a warmth and vitality that transcend the screen. In reflecting on these strange and fascinating facts, one sees the film not merely as a polished work of art but as a living, breathing creation forged through collective passion, ingenuity, and resilience. The triumphs and challenges of the production mirror the film's themes of perseverance and faith, reminding us that great storytelling is born not only from vision but from the messy, unpredictable reality of human endeavor. In the end, the behind-the-scenes tales enrich our appreciation of the film, revealing the extraordinary effort and heart that made its sweeping vision possible. They invite us to look beyond the spectacle, to honor the countless individuals whose dedication and creativity transformed a script into a timeless cinematic masterpiece. The film unfolds like an ancient scroll, unspooling a narrative rich with moments that carry weight far beyond their immediate spectacle. These significant events, carefully crafted and profoundly symbolic, form the backbone of a story that continues to captivate audiences and critics alike. To engage deeply with the film is to recognize how each pivotal scene resonates on multiple levels: narrative, thematic, emotional, and how these layers intertwine to create a cinematic experience that is both timeless and deeply human. One of the earliest and most crucial events is the protagonist's discovery of his true heritage and the awakening to the plight of his people. This moment transcends mere plot advancement. It is a profound moral and psychological turning point. From a critical perspective, it serves as the narrative's ethical core, where privilege is confronted by responsibility, and innocence is shattered by knowledge. The film uses this awakening to challenge viewers, prompting reflection on complicity, justice, and identity. Cinematically, this revelation is portrayed with intimate framing and nuanced performances, emphasizing the internal conflict simmering beneath the external opulence. The tension between the hero's royal upbringing and the harsh reality he uncovers is rendered visually through contrasting imagery, the glittering palace versus the harsh labor camps. This juxtaposition deepens the emotional impact, inviting empathy and contemplation. The hero's act of rebellion, intervening to protect a slave from brutal punishment, marks a decisive shift in the narrative's trajectory. Critically, this scene embodies the theme of conscience overcoming fear and inertia. It highlights the cost of moral action in the face of systemic oppression and introduces a motif of sacrifice that permeates the story. The hero's defiance is both courageous and fraught, signaling the dangerous path ahead. From a filmmaking standpoint, this moment balances intimate drama with rising tension. The choreography of the conflict, combined with close-ups capturing the hero's resolve and the oppressor's fury, creates a scene charged with emotional intensity. The director's choice to linger on subtle expressions underscores the personal stakes, transforming the confrontation into a microcosm of larger societal struggles. Exile follows, unfolding as a spiritual and psychological crucible. The hero's journey through the desert is laden with symbolism, the barren landscape mirroring internal desolation and the search for meaning. Critics often note how these sequences shift the film's tone from political drama to contemplative meditation, exploring themes of faith, identity, and transformation. Visually, the desert scenes employ expansive wide shots that emphasize isolation and vulnerability, interspersed with moments of quiet introspection. The use of natural light and sparse sound design enhances the feeling of solitude and spiritual searching. These choices invite viewers to experience the hero's inner journey as palpably as his physical trials. The hero's growing connection with the divine introduces a profound layer of complexity. Rather than portraying faith as unquestioned certainty, the film delves into doubt, fear, and the burden of destiny. Moments of prayer and divine encounter are imbued with a sense of awe and mystery, reflecting a dynamic relationship between human agency and sacred will. This portrayal enriches the film's thematic texture, challenging simplistic notions of faith. The hero's dialogues with the divine become moments of existential questioning and resolve, inviting audiences into a shared contemplation of belief's role in moral courage and leadership. As the hero gathers followers and prepares to confront the empire, the narrative intensifies. Scenes depicting the slaves' suffering and their burgeoning hope are rendered with dignity and complexity. Critics praise the film's refusal to reduce these masses to mere background, instead giving individuals faces and voices that embody the collective yearning for freedom. The film's portrayal of community and solidarity emerges as a vital theme. The hero's ability to inspire and unite diverse individuals highlights leadership rooted in empathy and shared vision. This emphasis on relational dynamics adds emotional depth and realism to the epic scope. The escalating conflict between the hero and his adoptive brother culminates in confrontations rich with psychological nuance. Their rivalry embodies themes of power, pride, and familial bonds strained by opposing visions. Critics often highlight the actors' performances here, noting how their chemistry conveys both affection and enmity, deepening the narrative's emotional resonance. These confrontations are framed as moral and ideological battles, with the brother representing tyranny and the hero embodying liberation. The dialogue and staging are laden with symbolism, reflecting broader societal tensions and personal tragedy. The film's most iconic event, the parting of the sea, stands as a masterstroke of cinematic spectacle and symbolic meaning. Visually, it represents a landmark achievement in special effects, blending technical innovation with artistic vision. Critically, this sequence serves as the narrative's spiritual and emotional climax. The parting of the sea operates on multiple levels, as a miraculous intervention, a metaphor for hope and deliverance, and a dramatic turning point. The film's pacing and sound design build suspense and wonder, while the reactions of the characters ground the spectacle in human experience. This event's impact on audiences and critics alike is profound. It encapsulates the film's central themes of faith, courage, and communal liberation. The scene's grandeur invites awe, while its intimacy invites empathy, making it a touchstone of cinematic history. The aftermath, the giving of the commandments, shifts focus to themes of law, morality, and covenant. This moment is portrayed with solemnity and grandeur, underscoring its significance as a foundation for a just society. Critics interpret this event as a meditation on the responsibilities that accompany freedom. The hero's ascent to receive the laws symbolizes a peak of spiritual and ethical development. Cinematic techniques, lighting, framing, music, converge to evoke reverence and awe. The scene invites viewers to consider the relationship between divine authority and human agency. The narrative acknowledges the ongoing struggle to live by these laws, portraying moments of doubt and rebellion. This realism enriches the thematic complexity, avoiding simplistic resolutions and emphasizing the continual effort required to uphold justice. Throughout the film, the interplay of spectacle and intimacy shapes its emotional and thematic resonance. Epic scenes are balanced by personal moments, allowing audiences to connect with characters amid grand historical currents. This balance is a key factor in the film's enduring appeal. The film's exploration of faith is nuanced and compelling. It portrays belief as a journey marked by struggle and growth rather than certainty. This approach invites audiences to engage with spiritual themes thoughtfully and personally. Leadership emerges as a central theme, portrayed with complexity and humility. The hero's evolution from doubt to conviction exemplifies the qualities of courage, sacrifice, and empathy. His leadership contrasts with the antagonist's pride and cruelty, framing a moral dichotomy that enriches the narrative. Technically, the film's cinematography, editing, and sound design contribute to its impact. Visual contrasts between light and shadow mirror thematic conflicts, while editing rhythms shape emotional pacing. Soundscapes immerse viewers in the ancient world, enhancing realism and atmosphere. The film's reception reflects appreciation for its artistic and thematic achievements. Critics recognize its blend of spectacle and depth, while audiences connect emotionally with its story of liberation and faith. These responses highlight the film's success in speaking across time and culture. In summary, the film's significant events are not isolated moments but interconnected elements that build a rich, layered narrative. Through careful craftsmanship and thematic exploration, these scenes create an experience that is visually stunning, emotionally powerful, and intellectually engaging. By weaving together personal and epic, human and divine, the film offers a meditation on freedom, justice, and faith that continues to inspire reflection and dialogue. Its enduring resonance speaks to the universal human longing for meaning and liberation, making it a timeless cinematic masterpiece. The making of this cinematic epic was itself a grand saga, a tale woven from ambition, creativity, and human endurance. Beneath the polished sheen of the final film lies a labyrinth of stories, of sweat, innovation, laughter, and hardship, that reveal the vast scale and passionate heart of the production. To truly appreciate the film's artistry, one must journey into the world behind the cameras, where vision met reality amid unexpected challenges and unforgettable moments. From the outset, the filmmakers set out to create something unprecedented. The goal was not merely to tell a story but to bring an ancient world to life with breathtaking authenticity and scale. This vision demanded resources, talent, and a willingness to push beyond the norms of filmmaking at the time. The studio invested heavily in constructing monumental sets, recruiting thousands of extras, and developing special effects that would dazzle audiences and stand the test of time. Central to this ambition was the construction of the sprawling ancient city, which became one of the largest sets ever built. Rather than rely on painted backdrops or miniature models, the production erected full-scale streets, temples, and palaces, complete with intricate carvings and authentic textures. Artisans and craftsmen labored for months, their work a blend of artistry and engineering, creating a world that felt lived in and believable. This massive undertaking required coordination on a colossal scale. The production employed teams dedicated solely to maintaining the set, repairing damage caused by weather or wear, and adapting spaces to the needs of different scenes. Walking through these streets, actors found themselves immersed not just in a set, but in a living, breathing city that stimulated authentic performances. Managing thousands of extras posed its own logistical challenges. Casting directors recruited local populations and military personnel, who brought varying degrees of experience and enthusiasm. Coordinating their movements in large crowd scenes demanded military-like precision. Assistant directors developed complex signaling systems and rehearsed movements repeatedly to ensure scenes could be captured efficiently without chaos. Animals added another layer of complexity and authenticity. The production featured elephants, camels, horses, and more, all trained to perform in sometimes hectic and unpredictable environments. Trainers worked tirelessly to prepare the animals for scenes requiring precise actions, but as with any living creatures, surprises were inevitable. One memorable incident involved a startled elephant causing a brief panic among extras, leading to a scramble that, while chaotic, was handled with good humor and teamwork. The film's legendary water sequences, particularly the parting of the sea, pushed technical innovation to new heights. Engineers designed enormous water tanks with mechanical gates capable of releasing or holding back thousands of gallons of water. Cameras were positioned to capture the illusion of towering walls of water, with timing and safety protocols carefully choreographed to protect cast and crew. Despite precautions, these scenes involved significant risks. On one occasion, a malfunction released a surge that flooded part of the set, damaging equipment and nearly endangering those nearby. The quick response of the crew averted disaster, but the event remains a testament to the daring and complexity involved in bringing such spectacle to life without modern digital effects. The director's reputation as a demanding perfectionist is well earned. Known for insisting on numerous takes to capture exact performances and shots, he pushed actors and crew alike to their limits. While this sometimes led to tension, many involved recognized that his rigor resulted in performances charged with emotional truth and visual sequences of unparalleled grandeur. Actors recall the intensity of shooting days, often stretching long into the night under harsh desert conditions. The lead actor, embodying the hero with commanding presence, balanced the physical demands of the role with a warm off-screen demeanor, forging bonds with extras and crew that eased the hardships. His dedication to authenticity extended to learning ancient languages and customs to deepen his portrayal. His counterpart, the actor portraying the rival brother, brought a brooding intensity that fueled their on-screen clashes. Behind the scenes, their dynamic was a blend of competition and mutual respect, with moments of disagreement that only sharpened their performances. Stories from the set describe spirited discussions about character motivations, reflecting the actors' commitment to nuanced storytelling. The costume department faced monumental tasks, outfitting thousands of people with garments ranging from ornate royal robes to the humble attire of slaves. To balance authenticity with practicality, they innovated with materials that looked rich but allowed actors to endure the heat. Some costumes incorporated real gold leaf and jewels, lending tangible splendor to scenes of courtly life. Makeup artists pioneered techniques that would influence Hollywood for decades. Transforming actors into ancient Egyptians, Hebrews, and other characters required hours of detailed work, often under trying conditions. The camaraderie and humor within the makeup team became a vital morale booster amid long shooting days. A charming behind-the-scenes story involves an extra initially cast for a minor role who captivated the director with his natural charisma. Without prior acting experience, he was given additional screen time and became a beloved presence, embodying the spirit of the people and adding authenticity to the portrayal of the oppressed. The musical score, composed by a legendary maestro, was a cornerstone of the film's emotional power. The composer assembled a massive orchestra and blended Western classical traditions with exotic instrumentation to evoke the ancient world. Recording sessions were collaborative and intense, with the director and composer working closely to align music and image. Some alternate recordings remain in archives, offering insight into the evolving artistic process. Post-production was an epic endeavor. Editors faced the daunting task of assembling hundreds of hours of footage into a coherent, compelling narrative. Early versions of the film were longer and more sprawling, with some sequences trimmed or rearranged for pacing and clarity. Sound designers layered dialogue, ambient noise, and music to create immersive soundscapes that brought ancient Egypt to life. Filming in remote desert locations posed logistical challenges beyond imagination. Supplying water, food, shelter, and medical care for hundreds of people required meticulous planning. Equipment failures were frequent, necessitating creative solutions. The resilience of cast and crew in these harsh environments speaks to their dedication and collective spirit. Despite the grueling schedule, moments of levity and human connection punctuated the long days. Cast and crew organized informal gatherings under starlit skies, sharing stories and music. These moments fostered bonds that transcended the pressures of production, creating a sense of family amidst the epic undertaking. The film's premiere was a spectacle matching its scale. Lavish events drew celebrities, dignitaries, and fans, turning the release into a cultural milestone. This grand unveiling helped cement the film's legacy and elevated it beyond entertainment into a shared social experience. Its influence rippled through Hollywood and beyond, inspiring future filmmakers and shaping popular conceptions of biblical and ancient narratives. The innovations in set design, special effects, and crowd coordination set new standards, expanding cinema's possibilities. Beyond the screen, the production stories, of endurance, creativity, and unexpected humor, remind us that great films are forged in the crucible of human collaboration. The triumphs and challenges behind the scenes mirror the film's themes of perseverance and faith, illustrating that the magic of cinema arises from the messy, beautiful reality of collective effort. In reflecting on these production insights and fun facts, we gain a richer appreciation of the monumental artistry and humanity that created a timeless masterpiece. These tales breathe life into the epic, inviting us to honor the countless individuals whose passion and skill transformed a vision into a living, enduring work of art. The world that unfolds in this epic film is not merely a backdrop but a living, breathing entity, an immense canvas upon which the story's drama, spirituality, and human struggles are vividly painted. The settings and cinematic elements are so intricately woven into the narrative that they transcend the role of scenery, becoming active participants in the storytelling. To truly experience the film is to be immersed in its landscapes, temples, deserts, and palaces, each location and visual choice deepening the mood, atmosphere, and meaning in profound ways. From the moment the film begins, the viewer is swept into a world that feels vast, ancient, and charged with power. The grand cityscapes, recreated on sprawling studio lots, are awe-inspiring in scale and detail. Towering columns, vast courtyards, and intricate hieroglyphics speak not just of architectural mastery but of a civilization's grandeur and the weight of history pressing down on its people. These monumental sets do more than establish place, they evoke a sense of awe and reverence, immersing viewers in a time where gods and kings seemed intertwined. The craftsmanship behind these environments is staggering. Every stone carved, every mural painted, bears the marks of painstaking effort aimed at authenticity. The aging of surfaces, weathering, cracks, and patina, lends a tactile realism that grounds the epic's mythic sweep in palpable reality. Walking through these streets, characters, and audiences are enveloped in a world that feels lived in, layered with stories and secrets. Contrasting the vastness of the city are intimate interior settings. The royal palaces are portrayed with rich textures, gleaming marble floors, sumptuous tapestries, and flickering torchlight that create an atmosphere both opulent and claustrophobic. These spaces reflect the dual nature of power, magnificent yet confining, a gilded cage for those born into privilege. Cinematographers use soft, warm lighting to highlight the luxurious details while casting shadows that hint at intrigue and moral complexity lurking beneath the surface. Beyond the city walls stretches the desert, a character in its own right. The desert landscapes are shot with breathtaking cinematography that captures both their harshness and haunting beauty. Wide, sweeping shots emphasize the vast emptiness and isolation, mirroring the hero's internal exile and spiritual journey. The relentless sun, shifting dunes, and stark horizons evoke feelings of vulnerability and transcendence, placing human struggles within the timeless rhythms of nature. The desert is more than a setting, it is a symbol of trial, transformation, and revelation. Scenes of the hero wandering its expanse are imbued with poetic visual metaphors, footsteps tracing fragile paths in the sand, solitary figures silhouetted against expansive skies. These images invite viewers to reflect on themes of solitude, faith, and endurance, reinforcing the narrative's spiritual dimensions. Water, a rare and precious element in this arid world, carries potent symbolic weight. The scarcity of water in the desert sequences underscores themes of survival and desperation, while the miraculous parting of the sea stands as the film's visual and thematic crescendo. This moment is crafted with awe-inspiring visual effects and masterful cinematography, portraying walls of water held back by divine will as the masses pass through to freedom. The cinematography in this sequence is particularly noteworthy for its blend of scale and intimacy. Sweeping aerial shots capture the enormity of the event, while close-ups reveal individual expressions of fear, hope, and faith. The interplay of light reflecting off the water creates a shimmering, otherworldly atmosphere, reinforcing the miraculous nature of the moment. Throughout the film, the interplay of light and shadow is used with deliberate artistry to enhance mood and symbolism. Bright sunlight often illuminates moments of revelation or freedom, while darker interiors and shadowed corridors convey secrecy, oppression, and moral ambiguity. The chiaroscuro effects, sharp contrasts between light and dark, mirror the film's thematic tensions between good and evil, faith and doubt, freedom and bondage. The color palette further enriches the film's atmosphere. Earthy tones, ochres, browns, and golds, dominate the desert and architectural scenes, grounding the narrative in natural and historical authenticity. These warm hues evoke both the beauty and harshness of the environment. In contrast, cooler shades of blue, purple, and crimson appear in royal settings, signifying power, luxury, and sometimes coldness. This thoughtful use of color communicates social divides and emotional states subtly yet powerfully. Camera movement is fluid and purposeful, shaping the viewer's emotional journey. Long tracking shots follow characters through bustling marketplaces or desolate sands, inviting immersion in the world. Crane shots soar over armies and cities, conveying scale and grandeur. Occasionally, handheld camera work adds immediacy and tension during moments of chaos or intimate drama, grounding epic events in personal experience. Framing and composition are rich with symbolism. Characters are often placed within architectural frames, doorways, arches, and columns, that visually reinforce themes of captivity and transition. Symmetrical compositions evoke order and divine law, while asymmetrical shots during conflict scenes suggest disruption and moral complexity. These visual choices add layers of meaning, inviting attentive viewers to engage with the narrative beyond dialogue. Costumes and makeup complement the settings to create a cohesive visual narrative. Ornate royal garments glint under palace lights, their textures and colors reflecting status and personality. In contrast, the simple, worn clothing of the oppressed conveys humility and endurance. Changes in costume throughout the film visually mark character development and shifts in status, enhancing storytelling through visual cues. Sound design, while auditory, interacts closely with the settings to deepen atmosphere. The rustling of desert winds, the clang of chisels shaping stone, and the distant chants of priests create a soundscape that transports viewers into the film's world. These subtle details enrich the sensory experience, making environments feel tangible and alive. Symbolism is woven into the film's visual elements with careful intent. The towering pyramids and temples symbolize human ambition and the weight of oppression, looming over the oppressed masses. The endless desert sands represent both exile and spiritual testing. The interplay of natural and constructed spaces reflects the tension between divine order and human frailty. Editing techniques shape how settings and visual elements influence narrative flow and mood. Transitions between grand public scenes and quiet personal moments emphasize contrasts between external conflict and internal struggle. Montage sequences compress time and highlight themes of labor, worship, and resistance. The pacing varies to maintain engagement, with moments of stillness allowing reflection and sweeping sequences conveying urgency. Lighting effects during spiritual or revelatory scenes use high contrast and halo-like glows to elevate characters and events beyond the mundane. These choices visually signify divine presence and spiritual awakening, reinforcing thematic depth. Filming locations include both massive studio sets and real desert landscapes, creating a blend of constructed grandeur and natural authenticity. The natural settings contribute raw beauty and realism that enhance emotional impact. Aerial shots capture vast desert expanses and monumental architecture, emphasizing scale and the epic nature of the story. Visual motifs, mirrors, thresholds, and shadows recur throughout, symbolizing transformation, revelation, and the crossing of physical and spiritual boundaries. These images deepen narrative meaning and invite ongoing interpretation. The film's color grading and texture choices lend it a timeless, almost painterly quality. Warm sepia tones evoke antiquity, while shifts in hue signal changes in mood or narrative focus. The tactile grain and texture invite viewers into an immersive visual experience. In essence, the film's settings and cinematic elements are inseparable from its storytelling. The grandeur of ancient Egypt comes alive through monumental sets and breathtaking natural landscapes, while intimate lighting and framing invite viewers into the inner worlds of characters. Cinematography crafts mood and tone with artistry, weaving symbolism and atmosphere into every frame. Together, these elements create an immersive, emotionally resonant experience that elevates the film beyond historical drama to a meditation on faith, power, and human resilience. The settings become stages where eternal struggles for freedom and meaning play out, making the cinematic journey as profound as the story itself. The making of this epic film was itself a grand journey, a sprawling adventure filled with moments of triumph, tension, humor, and unyielding human spirit. Behind the scenes, far from the polished final cut that captivated millions, the production was a living, breathing organism pulsing with creativity and chaos. It was a world where thousands of people, actors, extras, craftsmen, technicians, came together, each bringing their own stories, quirks, and struggles to the monumental task of recreating a lost civilization and timeless tale. From the outset, the scale of the production was staggering. The sets alone were an engineering marvel, requiring vast teams of builders, artists, and laborers to construct sprawling ancient cities, towering temples, and massive palaces. This immense undertaking demanded not only skill but tireless dedication, as crews worked around the clock to build environments that would transport audiences into a world both alien and breathtakingly real. The sheer size of these constructions meant that the film was almost a small city in itself, a bustling hub of activity where everyone had a role, from the lead actors to the extras milling in the background. Working amidst these monumental sets, the cast and crew formed a unique microcosm of human experience. Long shooting days under the scorching sun forged bonds of camaraderie and resilience. The extras, many recruited locally and inexperienced with film work, became an essential part of the community. Stories abound of how these groups, despite language barriers and exhausting conditions, shared meals, songs, and laughter during breaks, creating a sense of fellowship that transcended their roles as mere background players. One particularly heartwarming anecdote recounts how, during a prolonged labor scene, a group of extras began to spontaneously play makeshift instruments, drums fashioned from empty cans, flutes carved from reeds, turning their break into a joyous impromptu concert. This burst of music lifted spirits across the set, reminding everyone of the humanity beneath the grandeur and toil. The relationship between the principal actors was a dynamic blend of professional respect, rivalry, and genuine friendship. The star portraying the hero was known for his intense preparation and commanding presence, but off-camera he was approachable and warm, often engaging with extras and crew with kindness that belied his screen stature. His co-star, cast as the rival brother, brought a brooding intensity and methodical approach that complemented and sometimes challenged his counterpart. Their on-set rapport was marked by moments of tension and collaboration, fueling performances that crackled with authentic emotional charge. Their shared scenes were often rehearsed meticulously, with the two actors debating character motivations and blocking with passionate energy. Behind the scenes, stories tell of late-night discussions about scenes' nuances, showing a commitment to crafting a layered portrayal of love, jealousy, and power. This professional rigor lent the film its psychological depth, making their conflict feel visceral and deeply human. The director's presence loomed large over the production. Famous for his exacting standards and relentless pursuit of perfection, he demanded numerous takes, sometimes causing frustration but ultimately pushing everyone to their best work. Actors recall days stretching into night, shooting scenes repeatedly until the director was satisfied with every emotional beat and visual detail. Despite the pressures, many expressed gratitude for his vision and dedication, acknowledging that his intensity brought a unique clarity and power to the film. Filming in the desert brought its own set of trials. The extreme heat, sandstorms, and isolation tested the endurance of cast and crew alike. Cameras overheated, equipment malfunctioned, and actors suffered exhaustion. Yet these harsh conditions also contributed to the authenticity and atmosphere of the film, immersing performers and audiences alike in the stark realities of the story's setting. One memorable episode involved a sudden desert sandstorm that swept through the set, halting production and burying parts of the set under thick layers of sand. The storm was so intense and unexpected that many whispered about it with awe, as if the desert itself was asserting its ancient power. Crew members worked tirelessly to dig out sets and equipment, their efforts a testament to perseverance amid adversity. Animals featured prominently in the production, adding both realism and unpredictability. Elephants, camels, horses, and other creatures were trained for their roles, but their natural behaviors sometimes disrupted filming. Tales of startled elephants causing brief chaos, or camels wandering off mid-scene, pepper the set's lore. Despite these challenges, animals became beloved members of the production family, their presence enriching the film's texture and authenticity. The costume and makeup departments faced Herculean tasks. Crafting thousands of garments that balanced historical accuracy with practicality required ingenuity. Some costumes incorporated real gold leaf and precious stones, while others were designed to withstand the desert's harsh climate. Makeup artists pioneered techniques that transformed actors into ancient figures with intricate designs and prosthetics, often working long hours to achieve the desired look. A particularly charming story involves an extra originally hired for a minor role who captivated the director with his natural charisma and emotional expressiveness. Without prior acting experience, he was granted additional screen time and became a beloved presence, bringing genuine humanity to scenes of oppression, and hope. Music played a pivotal role in shaping the film's emotional landscape. The composer assembled one of the largest orchestras of the time and integrated exotic instruments to evoke the ancient setting. Recording sessions were intense collaborations between composer and director, with multiple revisions to perfectly align score and image. Rare alternate takes of musical themes have since been discovered, offering glimpses into the creative process. Editing was an enormous challenge, with hundreds of hours of footage to condense into a coherent narrative. Editors worked closely with the director to balance pacing, drama, and spectacle. Early versions of the film were longer and more sprawling, with some scenes trimmed or rearranged for clarity and impact. Sound design complemented editing, layering dialogue, ambient noise, and music to create immersive soundscapes. Behind the scenes, the spirit of collaboration was strong. Cast and crew organized informal gatherings, sharing meals and stories under desert stars. These moments of levity and connection were vital, fostering resilience and a sense of shared purpose amid the demands of production. Despite occasional tensions and setbacks, the collective passion and dedication never wavered. Injuries and equipment failures tested endurance, but a shared commitment to the film's vision drove everyone forward. The production's scale and ambition were matched by a human story of perseverance, creativity, and camaraderie. The film's premiere was a spectacular event, reflecting the grandeur of the production. Lavish parties, red carpet events, and simultaneous citywide screenings turned the release into a cultural phenomenon. This celebration cemented the film's legacy as a landmark achievement in cinema. The influence of the production extended beyond its initial release. Its pioneering techniques in set design, special effects, and crowd management inspired generations of filmmakers. The film sparked renewed interest in biblical and ancient history, bridging entertainment, education, and cultural discourse. Ultimately, the behind-the-scenes story is one of extraordinary human endeavor. It reveals that the magic of cinema is born not just from technology or artistry, but from the collective heart and spirit of those who dare to dream and create on a grand scale. The laughter, struggles, and triumphs of the cast and crew form a rich tapestry beneath the epic, reminding us that every frame of greatness is forged in the fires of passion, collaboration, and resilience. This glimpse behind the curtain enriches our understanding and appreciation of the film, inviting us to honor the countless individuals whose talents and dedication transformed a monumental vision into a timeless masterpiece. The story unfolds as a profound meditation on themes that reach far beyond the sands of ancient Egypt and the grandiose spectacles of empire, touching the very core of human experience. It is a tapestry woven with threads of freedom and bondage, faith and doubt, power and humility, a narrative that invites us not only to witness an epic struggle but to reflect on the eternal questions that shape identity and destiny. These themes are not mere adornments but the lifeblood of the film, flowing through every scene, every gesture, every line of dialogue, and giving meaning to the vast spectacle. At the heart of the film lies the theme of freedom, both physical and spiritual. The story's foundation is the struggle of a people enslaved, yearning for liberation from oppression. This yearning is not depicted as a simple quest for escape, but as a complex, multifaceted journey that encompasses sacrifice, responsibility, and transformation. The protagonist's path from royal privilege to emancipator embodies this theme, illustrating that true freedom requires confronting pain and embracing sacrifice. Freedom here is portrayed not merely as absence of chains but as an active pursuit of justice and righteousness. The film's narrative emphasizes that liberation entails not only breaking physical bonds, but also establishing a moral and spiritual order that uplifts and unites. This duality is echoed in the hero's journey. His external battles against tyranny mirror his internal struggles with doubt and faith, underscoring freedom's holistic nature. Opposing freedom is the theme of bondage, which extends beyond the literal enslavement of bodies to include spiritual and moral captivity. The antagonist and the empire represent this bondage, systems and attitudes that dehumanize and suppress. Their pride, cruelty, and refusal to heed justice symbolize the forces that bind not only peoples but souls. This portrayal warns of the corrupting power of unchecked authority and the human cost of oppression. The tension between freedom and bondage is dramatized through the complex relationship between the two brothers, whose personal rivalry reflects larger societal conflicts. Their interactions embody the struggle between empathy and cruelty, humility and pride, love and hatred. This fraternal dynamic adds emotional richness and moral complexity, showing how these themes play out within intimate human bonds. Faith is another central theme that permeates the film. Unlike simplistic portrayals of belief, the film presents faith as a living, sometimes fraught journey marked by doubt, struggle, and revelation. The protagonist's evolving relationship with the divine is portrayed with nuance. Moments of questioning and despair give way to moments of surrender and clarity. This portrayal invites viewers to see faith not as static certainty but as dynamic engagement with the mysteries of existence. Divine intervention in the story is not a deus ex machina but a catalyst that tests and empowers human will. The film suggests that faith and action are intertwined, that belief inspires courage, and courage deepens faith. This interplay enriches the narrative, elevating it from historical epic to spiritual odyssey. Justice emerges as both theme and ideal, intricately connected to freedom and faith. The giving of the commandments symbolizes the establishment of a covenant, binding a people to principles of righteousness and mutual responsibility. This act underscores that freedom is incomplete without justice, and that law serves as a foundation for moral community. The film portrays justice as aspirational and ongoing, acknowledging the challenges of living by divine law amid human imperfection. This theme resonates through characters' struggles, societal tensions, and moments of reconciliation, inviting reflection on the balance between idealism and reality. Sacrifice weaves through the narrative as a poignant and recurring theme. The protagonist's willingness to endure hardship for the sake of his people elevates him beyond mere heroism into the realm of the redemptive. This theme connects intimately with ideas of love, duty, and leadership, emphasizing that true greatness requires giving of oneself wholly. Sacrifice is not glorified blindly but portrayed with emotional honesty. Moments of loss, pain, and doubt humanize the epic, making the cost of freedom palpable. This realism deepens audience empathy and highlights the complexity of moral courage. The theme of leadership is intricately explored, challenging conventional heroic archetypes. The hero's evolution is neither swift nor simple. It involves vulnerability, learning, and perseverance. His leadership contrasts sharply with the antagonist's authoritarianism, framing a moral discourse on power, responsibility, and humility. The film suggests that authentic leadership arises from empathy, sacrifice, and vision rather than domination. This theme resonates with contemporary questions about governance, ethics, and the human condition. Symbolism is richly embedded throughout the film, amplifying themes and inviting layered interpretations. The desert, for example, is more than a landscape. It symbolizes exile, testing, and spiritual purification. Its vast emptiness reflects isolation and the stripping away of falsehoods, creating a space for transformation. The heroes wandering through the desert mirrors inner journeys of doubt and enlightenment. Water carries profound symbolic weight. Its scarcity evokes desperation and mortality, while its abundance in the parting of the sea symbolizes miraculous deliverance and renewal. The sea crossing becomes a metaphor for transition, passing from captivity to freedom, chaos to order, death to life. Montage sequences compress time and convey the vast scope of events, from monumental construction projects to the escalation of unrest among the oppressed. These montages blend images of labor, worship, and conflict, creating emotional crescendos that propel the story while reinforcing themes of endurance and faith. Deep focus cinematography enables multiple planes within the frame to remain sharp, allowing simultaneous observation of foreground and background action. This technique enriches visual storytelling by embedding symbolic or narrative details within complex compositions, inviting attentive viewers to discover layered meanings. Camera movement is fluid and purposeful. Tracking shots follow characters through bustling marketplaces or desolate deserts, immersing viewers in environments. Crane shots soar above armies and cities, evoking epic scale and divine perspective. Handheld shots, used sparingly, add immediacy and intimacy during moments of chaos or personal crisis, grounding larger-than-life events in human experience. Sound design and musical scoring are integral to the film's immersive atmosphere. The composer assembled a large orchestra blending Western symphonic traditions with exotic instruments to evoke ancient Egypt's soundscape. The score is not mere background but a dynamic participant, guiding emotional responses, underscoring themes, and linking disparate scenes through recurring motifs. Sound effects add rich texture. The clatter of chisels, murmurs of crowds, rustling desert winds, and sacred chants create a layered soundscape that transports viewers into the film's world. Ambience is carefully balanced to enhance realism without overpowering dialogue, making settings feel alive. Dialogue recording and mixing were meticulous, ensuring clarity amid complex scenes. Post-production teams layered Foley effects, ambient sound, and score to craft a coherent auditory experience that deepens immersion and emotional resonance. The film's box office production and release strategy mirrored its cinematic ambition. The studio invested heavily in marketing, organizing lavish premieres and simultaneous openings in multiple cities. These events turned screenings into cultural phenomena, drawing celebrities, dignitaries, and enthusiastic audiences. The promotional campaign emphasized the film's grandeur and spectacle, fueling anticipation and broad appeal. Commercially, the film was a monumental success, becoming one of the highest-grossing releases of its era. Its blend of spectacle, storytelling, and emotional depth resonated across demographics, making it a cultural touchstone. Critical reception praised technical achievements alongside narrative power, recognizing its influence on the epic genre and filmmaking techniques. The film's legacy extends beyond box office figures. It set new standards for large-scale production design, special effects, and crowd management. Its innovations inspired filmmakers worldwide, shaping cinematic language and raising expectations for historical epics. Restoration and preservation efforts ensure that contemporary audiences can experience the film's artistry in its full original glory. In sum, the filmmaking techniques employed were not mere technical feats but artistic choices that shaped tone, mood, and meaning. Cinematography, lighting, sound, editing, and practical effects combine to create a fully realized world, both vast and intimate, that invites audiences into an immersive journey of faith, freedom, and human resilience. These techniques elevated the film from a historical narrative to a timeless masterpiece, demonstrating cinema's power to blend spectacle with profound storytelling. The film stands as a testament to the vision, innovation, and craftsmanship that define the art of filmmaking and continues to inspire viewers and creators alike. The film's story is carried not only by its sweeping visuals and monumental sets but by the vivid performances of its cast, actors who breathed life into ancient characters and made their struggles, doubts, and triumphs feel deeply human. Their journeys, both on and off camera, intertwine with the audience's own responses, creating a rich dialogue that extends far beyond the screen. Exploring the voices of the cast through interviews and hearing the heartfelt reflections of viewers offers a window into the film's enduring power and resonance. At the heart of the story stands the leading actor, whose portrayal of the hero anchors the epic with a blend of regal authority and vulnerability. In interviews, he reveals the immense responsibility he felt in embodying such an iconic figure, a man both mythic and deeply human. He speaks candidly about the physical demands of the role, enduring long hours in heavy costumes beneath the desert sun, and the mental immersion required to inhabit a character wrestling with faith, destiny, and leadership. This actor's preparation went beyond memorizing lines or learning choreography. He engaged with historians, language coaches, and spiritual advisors to ground his portrayal in authenticity. He reflects on the challenge of balancing the character's grandeur with intimate moments of doubt and fear, striving to create a figure who could inspire and relate. His dedication shines through in performances that are both commanding and tender, conveying the hero's complexity. The actor who played the adoptive brother and antagonist offers a compelling counterpoint. Known for his brooding intensity, he embraced the psychological depth of a character torn between love, jealousy, and ambition. His interviews reveal a thoughtful artist who explored the darker sides of power and pride, seeking to avoid one-dimensional villainy. He discusses the layered emotions that drive his character, revealing a tragic figure shaped by fear and wounded loyalty. The dynamic between these two actors was electric both on and off camera. Their rivalry fueled powerful performances, enriched by mutual respect and moments of genuine camaraderie. Behind the scenes, they engaged in spirited debates about motivations and character arcs, deepening the emotional complexity of their scenes together. This interplay brought authenticity to their fraught relationship, making every confrontation charged with real tension. Light and shadow function as visual symbols of knowledge and ignorance, good and evil, faith and doubt. The film's use of chiaroscuro, sharp contrasts between illumination and darkness, mirrors the moral and emotional tensions of the narrative. Moments of revelation are bathed in radiant light, while scenes of oppression are shrouded in shadow, visually reinforcing thematic dichotomies. Architecture and monumental structures symbolize human ambition, divine aspiration, and the burdens of empire. The towering pyramids and temples loom over the oppressed, embodying both cultural achievement and systemic oppression. Their grandeur contrasts with the humble dwellings and camps of the enslaved, highlighting social and spiritual divides. Characters themselves serve as living symbols. The hero represents redemption, humility, and the convergence of divine and human will. His journey embodies the archetypal hero's path, marked by trials, revelations, and acceptance of responsibility. The antagonist symbolizes pride, tyranny, and the destructive potential of power divorced from compassion. Costumes and colors contribute symbolic layers. Royal garments signify power and privilege, while simple attire of the oppressed conveys humility and endurance. Changes in costume throughout the film visually narrate character growth and shifts in social status. Rituals and ceremonies underscore themes of faith, community, and covenant. Scenes of worship, law-giving, and communal gatherings emphasize the sacred foundations of identity and morality. These rituals connect individual struggles to a larger cosmic order, situating personal journeys within universal narratives. Music and sound motifs reinforce symbolism and mood. Recurring themes evoke grandeur and intimacy, guiding emotional responses and deepening immersion. Sound cues accompany moments of revelation or peril, enhancing thematic resonance. These themes and symbols intertwine deeply with plot and character development. The protagonist's personal growth mirrors the larger quest for freedom and justice. His doubts, struggles, and faith journey reflect the film's exploration of human and divine interplay. The antagonist's pride and cruelty embody obstacles to these ideals. Settings and visual motifs create environments where themes unfold vividly. The contrast between palace splendor and desert austerity reflects internal and societal conflicts. Symbolic imagery invites viewers to engage actively, reading meaning beneath the surface. Together, the film's themes and symbolism elevate it from historical epic to timeless meditation. It challenges audiences to contemplate the nature of freedom, justice, faith, sacrifice, and leadership. By weaving these elements seamlessly into narrative and visual fabric, the film creates a rich, layered experience that resonates deeply and endures across generations. Ultimately, the story is both particular and universal, a tale rooted in ancient history yet speaking to eternal human questions. Its themes invite reflection and dialogue, encouraging viewers to see beyond spectacle to the profound truths at the heart of the human journey. This intricate interplay of theme and symbol is what makes the film not just a cinematic masterpiece but a living conversation across time. The making of this cinematic masterpiece was an extraordinary fusion of artistry, innovation, and sheer scale, an undertaking that pushed the boundaries of filmmaking at the time and shaped the very language of epic cinema for generations to come. From the monumental sets and pioneering special effects to the nuanced sound design and masterful editing, every technical choice was deliberate, serving not only the spectacle but the emotional and thematic core of the story. Exploring these filmmaking techniques reveals how the creators wove together sight and sound to craft an immersive world that transports viewers into a mythic past, making the story both epic and intimate. At the foundation of the film's visual power lies its breathtaking cinematography. The director of photography employed a range of techniques to capture the grandeur of ancient Egypt and the personal journeys within it. Vast panoramic shots sweep across sprawling cityscapes, towering monuments, and endless desert vistas, emphasizing scale and the weight of history. These wide shots situate characters within immense worlds, reminding viewers of the forces, both human and divine, that shape their lives. Yet the film balances these grand vistas with intimate close-ups and medium shots that capture subtle facial expressions and emotional nuance. This interplay between wide and tight framing creates a dynamic rhythm, drawing viewers into the psychological as well as physical journey. The camera lingers on moments of doubt, resolve, and tenderness, inviting empathy amid the spectacle. Lighting is used with deliberate artistry to sculpt mood and tone. Harsh, naturalistic sunlight bathes desert scenes, casting sharp shadows and accentuating the stark beauty and cruelty of the environment. Interior scenes utilize softer, diffused lighting that creates an atmosphere of mystery, reverence, or tension. Chiaroscuro, the play of light and shadow, is employed to highlight moral and emotional contrasts, visually mirroring the film's themes of faith and doubt, oppression and liberation. The filmmakers embraced practical effects and large-scale set design to create tangible environments that actors could inhabit authentically. Unlike later digital techniques, these effects required engineering ingenuity and physical craftsmanship. The massive water tanks constructed for the legendary sea parting sequence, for example, were mechanical marvels, giant gated pools controlled to release walls of water at precise moments. This practical approach lent scenes a visceral reality, allowing actors and extras to interact with real elements and grounding miraculous events in physical space. This commitment to physical effects extended to crowd scenes, which featured thousands of extras. Coordinating such large groups demanded military-level organization and choreography, with assistant directors employing coded signals and rehearsed movements to orchestrate mass action. The resulting scenes convey not just scale but the lived experience of a people united in hope and struggle. The film's editing plays a crucial role in shaping narrative flow and emotional impact. The editors crafted a rhythm that alternates sweeping sequences with quieter, character-driven moments, balancing pacing to sustain engagement across the lengthy runtime. Cross-cutting between parallel storylines builds tension and dramatic irony, while dissolves and fades allow reflective pauses. Supporting cast members also share fascinating insights. Their varied backgrounds, from seasoned stars to newcomers, reflect a diverse tapestry of talent united by the film's vision. Many speak of the profound impact the production had on their lives, the camaraderie forged during grueling shoots, and the pride of contributing to a story of such cultural and spiritual significance. Extras, often overlooked, emerge in these accounts as vital contributors. Many were locals who endured tough conditions and long hours, yet their enthusiasm and dedication brought palpable authenticity. Several recall how small moments of kindness and respect from lead actors and crew made a profound difference, fostering a sense of shared purpose and family. The director's influence permeates these reflections. Known for his demanding style, he pushed performers to their limits, seeking truth and depth. Actors acknowledge moments of tension but emphasize that his passion inspired breakthroughs and memorable performances. His openness to collaboration allowed actors to bring personal insight to their roles, enriching the film's emotional fabric. Beyond the cast, interviews reveal a shared sense of awe at the film's themes and legacy. Many express that participating in the production was a life-changing experience, connecting them not only to history but to timeless questions of faith, freedom, and responsibility. These personal narratives add layers of meaning to the cinematic epic. Audience responses to the film span generations and cultures, forming a rich mosaic of emotional and intellectual engagement. Contemporary reviews from its release capture awe at technical achievements and admiration for its storytelling. Viewers were struck by the film's ability to blend spectacle with intimate human drama, praising its emotional resonance and spiritual depth. Letters and testimonials reveal how deeply the film touched individual lives. Some recount watching it during difficult times, finding hope and inspiration in the hero's journey. Others describe how the film sparked curiosity about history and faith, leading to personal exploration. These stories attest to the film's power to move beyond entertainment into the realm of personal transformation. Modern audiences continue to celebrate the film's artistry and messages. Critics praise its pioneering special effects, majestic cinematography, and layered performances, while viewers appreciate its timeless themes of courage and redemption. Retrospectives and special screenings draw devoted fans who share memories and insights, keeping the film's spirit alive. The interplay between cast reflections and audience reactions creates a living dialogue. Performers' insights enrich viewers' understanding, while audience responses validate the actors' efforts and the film's enduring relevance. This dynamic relationship underscores cinema's unique ability to connect people across time and space. In sum, the voices of the cast and the echoes of audience experiences illuminate the film's profound impact. They remind us that behind every epic story are human hearts and minds, both creating and receiving art that shapes our understanding of ourselves and the world. This ongoing conversation between creators and viewers transforms the film from a static artifact into a living cultural force, one that inspires reflection, empathy, and community. It is in this shared experience that the true legacy of the film endures, inviting each generation to discover its layers anew and find within it a mirror for their own hopes and struggles. As our cinematic journey comes to a close, it feels only natural to pause and reflect on the rich tapestry we've unraveled together. A tapestry woven from grand ambitions, profound themes, breathtaking visuals, and the tireless human spirit behind the scenes. We began by stepping into an ancient world brought vividly to life, where kings and slaves, gods and mortals, struggle and hope converge beneath the relentless sun of Egypt's deserts. From that first glimpse, the story invited us to witness not only a historical epic but an exploration of timeless questions, about freedom and bondage, faith and doubt, leadership and sacrifice. We trace the protagonist's path from a sheltered prince unaware of his true heritage, through exile and spiritual awakening, to becoming a beacon of hope and justice for a people oppressed. Along the way, we felt the tension between his personal doubts and the weight of destiny, the complex and tragic bond with his adoptive brother, and the monumental challenges that tested his courage and faith. These narrative threads, threaded with emotional depth, made the sweeping saga profoundly human. The film's themes of liberation, justice, and covenant echoed in every scene, from the grueling labor camps and royal palaces to the desolate desert and the miraculous crossing of the sea. Symbolism infused the visuals and story. Deserts as places of trial and transformation, water as both scarcity and salvation, light and shadow as markers of knowledge and ignorance. These elements elevated the film beyond spectacle to a meditation on the human condition and divine purpose. Behind the grandeur lay groundbreaking filmmaking techniques that shaped every frame and note. The monumental sets and practical effects grounded the story in tangible reality, while innovative cinematography and lighting crafted moods ranging from awe to intimacy. The orchestral score wove emotional currents that pulled viewers deeper into the ancient world, while meticulous editing balanced epic battles with quiet moments of introspection. Our exploration of behind-the-scenes stories revealed a production fueled by passion and resilience, thousands of cast and crew enduring desert heat, orchestrating vast crowds, and pioneering special effects with ingenuity and care. Tales of camaraderie, unexpected mishaps, and human kindness behind the cameras enriched our appreciation for the artistry and endurance that brought the film to life. The voices of the cast offered personal reflections on embodying legendary figures, navigating intense dynamics, and connecting with the film's spiritual themes. These interviews unveiled the dedication and heart behind the performances, while audience reactions, spanning decades and cultures, testify to the film's enduring resonance as a source of inspiration, reflection, and communal experience. Together, these facets, story, theme, craft, human endeavor, and reception, form a multifaceted jewel that continues to shine brightly in the landscape of cinema. This film is not merely a tale of ancient times but a living conversation across generations, inviting each of us to ponder freedom's cost, the courage of faith, and the responsibilities of leadership.